The Roman army was famed for its hardened legionaries. These were some of the best fighters in Europe and the Mediterranean at the time, allowing them to defeat great powers such as Carthage, Macedon, and the Seleucid Empire. However, even though the sight of a Roman legion was enough to put the fear of the gods into their enemies, what was more terrifying was the wounds any potential army would receive when going up against such a foe, especially those wounds caused by the famous Gladius. There were many types of gladii over the years, with the first version of these swords being called the Gladius Hispanious. The Gladius Hispanious was a short sword developed by the Iberians and later utilised by the Romans, following their exposure to the weapon during the Second Punic War. The blade quickly became a staple of Roman armies, allowing the legions to carve a bloody path through Gaul in later years. Made out of iron, the Gladius Hispanious was a leaf-shaped sword, allowing it to be both used for cutting and slashing. This made the sword extremely effective in close quarters, giving the wielder a large amount of freedom to use the sword without it getting in the way of other users. This, in comparison to the long swords used by the Gauls, gave the Romans an unusual amount of space to use the weapon, making it extremely effective on the battlefield. The length of the blade was usually around 65 centimeters or 25 inches, with a pointed tip and a double edge. The blade itself had a reputation for having a very strong cutting edge on both sides, with a blade that was both firm and reliable. A short one-handed handle was usually made out of wood and sometimes had grooves carved into it for a better grip. As the Hispanious was meant for both stabbing and slicing, the blade was forged into a leaf shape, giving it a weighted tip, allowing for greater strikes for slicing. To counter this weight, the sword had an unusually large pommel. This gave the sword excellent balance, making it a very easy weapon to wield. All of these factors made the sword extremely devastating in combat. Livy remarks on how the Greeks and Macedonians, who were used to seeing the relatively small wounds made by pike, spear, and occasionally lance, were horrified by the wounds caused by the Gladius Hispanious. Livy paints a very bloody picture, claiming the Hispanious would be able to chop off limbs to the point where the very blade itself caused terror among the Greek ranks. Gradually, the Gladius Hispanious fell out of use, as the Roman army both evolved with the time and became more uniform. Sword preference began to prefer more straight-edged swords, such as the Pompeian Gladius and later the Sparta. Thank you for watching and listening to our videos. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe if you've enjoyed, or if you really like the channel, consider supporting us on Patreon. There, for as little as $1 a month, you'll gain access to an ever-expanding variety of exclusive Ancient History Guide content not found anywhere else online. All donations go directly back into the channel, helping us on our campaign to conquer YouTube. All sources are listed and linked in the description below. I've been the Ancient History Guy, and as always, I'll be seeing you later.